Hi, my name is Gargano. I'm a 4-time American Ninja Warrior, 3-time cover girl, and the creator of Pull Up Revolutions, which help 500 women complete their first pull up. I know you listen to all those things and you're probably like, wow, she's probably lived a couple different lives and a couple of different things. But what you don't see when I talk about those stories is the journey in order to get to each of those things. And there's this quote that someone told me that really stuck with me. It said, when one door closes, another one opens, but no one talks about the hallway in between. And what I want to talk about today is that dark hallway in between your goals. You always see that end goal, that bright, shiny object. But what really actually matters is that path to get there. And during that path, it's going to be dark. It's going to be scary. And I want to share a couple of things that I've gone through in my journey in order to help you. So when you hear all the Ninja Warrior, fitness, everything, you might think that my entire life I actually felt really good in my body. And believe it or not, when I was younger, I was actually made fun of for my muscular arms. And the people in school used to call me Mangela. Literally Mangela, that's the name that they came up with. And instead of me embracing that, I felt like strong wasn't beautiful. So I actually used to go to school every single day and cover my arms in a sweatshirt. Even if it was 100 degrees out, I would not let anybody see me. And little did I know that later on that my muscles and my arms and everything like that would actually be a part of me that would really like embrace for the rest of my life. So I went on to college, and when I got to college, my family was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I was like, well, I would love to be, a personal trainer. I feel like my strength is a big piece of who I am. And my parents said, that's not a real job. They're like, what else? What's the next job? And I'm like, well, maybe I can be in the circus. Angela, not a real job. So I really had to sit back for a second and think to myself, what do I want to be? So I decided to choose biochemist. Yes, you probably weren't thinking that's where I came from, but decided to choose biochemist. And lab coat and goggles, decided to work there in the industry. And I realized halfway through that this is actually not what I want to be. This is not what I want to be doing. And I'm sure maybe some of you relate. Maybe you relate to your body and having certain areas of your body that maybe you weren't so fond of, or maybe you relate to some of the things that you thought that you needed to do because your parents told you to do it. And someone came up to me one day and said, if you're not living your life by design, you're living it by default. And that's when I realized that I was living someone else's dream for me and not the dream that I actually wanted to live. I decided that I was going to quit that biochemistry job and open up my own gym. Obviously, there's a ton of stuff that happened in between that. And soon I was living the life that I always thought I could have, that I always imagined, right? I had my own gym. I got on American Ninja Warrior, which is really cool. And I had a boyfriend for like a slight second. And then I went on to American Ninja Warrior one more time. And I knew that this was my moment. Everything was literally going my way. Everything was going right for me. I get onto that course. And as I'm going through the first obstacle, I fly right through it. Awesome, landed, went to the second obstacle, decided to go for the lache, which means you jump from bar to bar. I land, I'm feeling like, yes, all I have to do is 2 more obstacles and I'm going to be the top female and I'm going to have that life that I always wanted and I always imagined. I get to the last obstacle I need to do. It's called the wing nut. You hold on and you slide side to side. And then as I'm sliding and I dismount, I'm like, yes, this is going to be it. I wake up and I black out and I actually tore my ACL on national television in front of everyone to see. Why me? Finally, everything was going right for me, right? And now everything all of a sudden wasn't going right anymore, right? Everything was going wrong. Now I couldn't walk. I couldn't use my body. I actually now defined myself as an athlete because I was embracing that strength that I wasn't embracing from the beginning of my life. But now what was I without that? Without having the gym and helping other people, without having my leg that I can use, who was I? So I had to really sit in that suck. I had to really sit in that moment for a long time. And what I had to start to do is start to embrace that uncomfortable feeling. And this is that piece of that hallway, right? That journey of that hallway, right? Where you finally think that you're almost to the light and then something happens, right? And I think what a lot of us don't do is we don't embrace that. So I decided that I was going to take a step back. I was going to embrace the uncomfortable feeling and realize, instead of using this opportunity, this injury as a moment to be down on myself, what if I used it as an opportunity to really learn about my body and learn who I was without some of those defining factors that I had for myself. After I took a moment, I realized that I could probably work on my mindset a lot more. There's other parts of my body that I could work on besides my leg, right? I could work on my core, I could work on my upper body. And I slowly started to realize that all these things really were happening for me, and that the growth that I really needed happened because of these moments. So all those moments that you think aren't going right for you, they actually are. And it actually had to take a step back and also ask myself, what does going right even actually look like? What does it look like? I didn't really know, because again, going right to me was getting all these external things like being on Ninja Warrior and being on a cover and doing all those different things. When I sat back and I actually started to realize, what does looking right what does looking right look like? I realized that it was so much more than just that. So what I want to leave you with here today is to take a moment, sit back, ask yourself, what does looking right actually look like? And what if some of the things that aren't going right for you actually are?